Good evening, guys. Welcome to once again a Facebook live session from Aussizz. Today, due to the public demand, we are bringing back nursing. Nursing is one of the favorite courses from international students, and we're gonna discuss about different topics on nursing. And we are very fortunate to have a migration agent from our Elizabeth office. Path, welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Mangesh, for inviting me in this session.
Yes, we always like to have someone from migration background who can give us more information about pathways and stuff. So guys, let's not waste any time. We'll start with Brisbane. We'll first of all take the topic as entry requirements for nursing courses. So Neha, can you please tell us about entry requirements?
Hi, Mangrish. Thanks for the introduction. For entry requirement in nursing programs for Diploma of Nursing and Bachelor, along with Masters of Nursing, it is 7 each in IELTS and PTE. So, if you talk about Masters of Nursing, which is available in the University of Queensland, and it is a recognized course, for that, the entry requirement is a bit high for PTE, which will be 72 each. It is not 65, it is 72 each. Apart from that, diploma and bachelor of nursing, it is 7 each. So it's a pretty much strict requirement for students who wants to study nursing. Yep. So after that, I would like to ask Priyanka to tell about New South Wales.
Thanks, Neha. So with NSW, we have diploma, bachelor's, graduate diploma, and masters of nursing. So to start with diploma of nursing, the entry requirement is 7 each, and the minimum age requirement is 18 years. Now, the problem with NSW is the availability of intakes. So for them, the next available intake is going to be T1 2022 for some provider, but with diploma of nursing, the intakes are available every 2 months. Now with bachelors of nursing, again, the entry requirement is going to be 7 each. And the provider we have is Torrance University. With masters of nursing, again, it's 7 each. And there's only one provider, which is University of Sydney. And we also have one program called Graduate Diploma of Nursing, which is basically for overseas registered nurses, and that is offered by IHNA. And now I'll hand over to Aksh.
Thank you, Priyanka. Guys, nursing requirements, as already discussed by Neha and Priyanka, it's already been set, fixed by AFRA. So we do have the nursing requirement, English requirement is 7 each. Academic requirements, they vary accordingly. Now, when it comes to 7 each, the only waiver is you can attempt two tests. I mean, two tests combined together with a 7 each or 7 overall. No band less than 6.5 can be considered, but the two test sittings should be in last 6 months only. So if you have a band score of 6.5, 6.5, 7, 7, and then 7, 7, 6.5, 6.5, combined together, colleges can accept that band score. PT, IELTS, TOEFL, OET, they are all acceptable. For Diploma of Nursing, Bachelors of Nursing, Masters of Nursing, English requirements, they would remain same as 7. When it comes to academic requirements, for Diploma of Nursing, technically there's no academic requirement. Yes, you're required to know the human biology component. If it's not there, it's fine. They'll teach you as well. For Bachelors of Nursing and Masters of Nursing, human biology component is required. So when it comes to human biology component, you have to cover that. In case you have not covered it, you can cover a separate component. So the next intake that's available would be Feb for most of the bachelors, but that's almost full. So next intake is going to be July altogether. Apart from that, there's only age requirement of 18 years, and there's no other requirement when it comes to nursing at all.
Excellent. Thanks, Aksh. Thank you so much, guys. We just want to let you know one thing, that the people who you are seeing in this video are all qualified education counselors. So they're certified people, and they've done the course to basically find out how they can counsel students and how they can provide the best consultation during their period. So as Mara agents are, of course, they are registered migration agents. They've done their course. For education agents, of course, we have to do the same. So if you have any questions when it comes to education or migration, feel free. I can see there are so many messages coming through. Feel free to send us as many messages as possible. We'll try to cover as much as possible in between and after that one as well. So Manpreet, can you please tell us about South Australia?
Thank you very much, Mangaresh, for having me here. Just to start with the entry requirement for nursing, as everyone said, it's 7 each. And Akshdeep has mentioned that you can combine 2 scores. There is one more thing I'd like to add. If in case you want to be eligible for a nursing program, say bachelor's, diploma, or master's level, since it's 7 each. If you have a 5 years of continuous studies in English speaking countries such as US, UK, or Australia itself, there are people who sometimes finish their some studies and they would want to go into nursing and they want to seek career in that particular field. In that case, if they have a 5 years of continuous studies in English speaking country, your English requirement can be waived off. So that's apart from the general 7 each requirement, that's the entry requirement. In terms of academic requirement for diploma level or advanced diploma level, usually you're looking at having year 12 if you're looking at diploma of nursing. If you want to enroll into bachelor's or master's of nursing, then you're looking at obviously having a prior study. If you have a diploma of nursing already and you want to go for bachelor's, you can be considered for credit transfer. So your bachelor's will come down to 2 years instead of 1 year. Similarly, masters, you have an option. If you have bachelor's of nursing, it's a bonus. If you don't have it, on the basis of strong statement of purpose and explaining your motivation behind studying nursing can, let you study master's level of nursing as well, even though if you don't have a nursing background in bachelor's. So this is basically about Adelaide. We have few, public university who offers this program, such as UniSA, Flinders, and University of Adelaide. In terms of diploma level, we have TFSA, we have Equals International, and Torrance University. They're usually called as Think Education as well. So that's all about Adelaide. Thank you, Mangaresh.
Thanks, Manpreet. Kiran, can you please tell us about Perth?
Sure. Thank you, Mangaresh. So talking about Western Australia, we have 3 public universities over here, which offers bachelor's and master's of nursing. Talking about diploma level course, so diploma of nursing is available in IHNA, ETEA, and in TAFE WA. So the entry requirements, as everyone has talked about, is 7 each for the English requirement. So earlier universities used to have like 6.5 each or 6.5 overall for the nursing program. But after that, AFRA has changed the requirement. So they have made the mandatory 7 each for everyone. So all the universities have made that 7 each requirement to enroll in this nursing program. So talking about diploma or bachelor's or master's, so 7 each is the mandatory one. So this is the English requirement. So talking about the academic requirement, so as they have discussed, it varies from provider to provider. So for diploma, obviously you need to have year 12 in medical stream. So you should have studied something regarding the medical so that you can study diploma of nursing. Then it comes to bachelor's and master's. So you need to have in bachelor's as well. So you might need to study year 12 of medical or diploma. If you have studied diploma of nursing, so obviously that will reduce your duration for the bachelor's. So let's say if the duration of the bachelor's of nursing is for 3 years. So if someone has done diploma of nursing, so they will get credit exemption for 1 year, and then their bachelor's will be reduced for 2 years. Same for Masters of Nursing. So in ECU and Curtin, they have Master of Nursing graduate entry. That means if you do not have any background in medical stream, so you can enroll in Master of Nursing graduate entry in these 2 universities based on your strong statement of purpose. And also you need to do a human biology unit prior to enroll in these universities for Master of Nursing. So yeah, this is all for the entry requirements in WA. Thank you, Mangaresh.
Thank you. Thanks, Kiran. Diksha, can you please tell us and cover Northern Territory and Tasmania, please?
Sure, Mangaresh. Thank you so much. So I'll first talk about NT, which is Northern Territory, and the main university there, which is Charles Darwin University. It's one of the best public university in NT. They do have a Bachelor of Nursing and they do have Master of Nursing as well. Now coming to entry requirements for their Bachelor of Nursing, the student should have at least 60% in their year 12. Usually we see that for nursing universities here in Australia, they do ask for mathematics as one of the component that you need to have prior to that, and then only you can enroll in Bachelor of Nursing, whereas CDU doesn't have any such requirement. You just need to have 60% in year 12 to study nursing. Also, like my colleagues said, that how the assessing body like AFRA has changed and made it mandatory to everyone everyone to have 7 each, and in IELTS or PT to get admission in this particular course. Similarly, in CDU as well, they do accept IELTS 7 each and overall 7. PT, they do accept 65, no band less than 65, and they accept TOEFL IBT, which is the internet-based testing for TOEFL now. So they do accept that, but apart from that, they do not accept anything else for Bachelor of Nursing. So only these 3 things. And also, like for Bachelor of Nursing, there are certain additional requirements, like you should have immunization, criminal record checkup, and also working with children check. These are the basic requirement for nursing overall, which would be for different universities as well. Now, when it comes to their masters, for masters, the English requirement is 6.5, no less than 6. And for masters of nursing, they do accept everything. Like they accept IELTS, they accept PT, OET, IBT, TOEFL. They accept. They also have pathway. If someone doesn't meet the English requirement, they can go for an LE course with Navitas, one of their associated partners. So they can do that and then be qualified for Master of Nursing. And also, they need to make sure, like, so there is no such percentage requirement, but then they should have a bachelor's degree in related field of health science. Plus, they should be an enrolled nurse back in the country. Like if their country has registration, or if their country has enrollment, they need to hold that as well to be qualified for Master of Nursing. Now, when I come to Tasmania, so in Tasmania, we only have one option, which is Diploma of Nursing. Entry requirement, again, 7, no band less than 7, and you just need national police check and working with children check to get enrolled in Tasmania. So that's about it from NT and Tasmania. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Diksha. There was a question who basically came in from Ruchi Patel. Ruchi is asking, what is the requirement for DNP? So Doctor of Nursing Practice and PhD in Nursing. Ruchi, every single university, you probably need to apply for submit your research paper, and then it takes from there. So it's a little bit different than the usual diploma and bachelor or master courses. So you'll find all that information on the university website. The other question what I had was for Parth. Parth, Manjinder Singh is asking how to come from India if I've done nursing from India and have experience. Can you please shed some light here? Sorry, you're mute, Parth. Can't hear you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mangirish. About applicants who are applying from or people who wanted to come to Australia through nursing background, then for them, if you wanted to, then you have 2 choice. You either study a course, a new course, as our education consultant were talking about. You study a course over here relevant to nursing, and you get registration through that courses, and you look at permanent residency options through that courses. Or the second option, which most of the applicants look for, is you apply for registration, and for that, generally the basic requirements are that you will have to score proficient English in IELTS, PT, TOEFL, Cambridge, or OET. 5 exams are acceptable, and you will have to score at least 7 each, or you will have to score equivalent in other examination. And for English test, you can combine multiple tests as well. However, there is a requirement that you have to score at least 6.5 in individual band, and overall score of that test which you have undertaken must be at least 7 overall. So you can combine 2 multiple tests or more, suppose, but you have to make sure that you can score at least 7 each in each of the 4 components. So you can combine multiple tests as well. So that is the English requirement. And apart from that, there is change in registration process, which I think you might have heard about, where you have to go through first you will have to see whether your qualification is fine as per the Australian standards, whether it's equivalent to Australian bachelor degree. If you are looking at registered nurse registration, if you are looking at enrolled nurse occupation, suppose, then you will have to see whether your qualification is equivalent to Diploma of Nursing in Australia. So you'll have to first see whether your qualification is fine. Based on that, APRA will advise you whether what type of assessment you are required to go for. So most likely, if you're from India, you will have to then after go for the MCQ test. Once you clear that, then after there is a simulation center in Adelaide. So you'll have to apply for a visitor visa, and you'll have to come to Adelaide, do that program, which is generally for 3 months of time. Once you complete that program, then after you can finally apply for registration. Once you get the registration from EPRA, then you have to apply for skills assessment with NMEC. That's another assessing authority, skills assessment authority. They do assessment for nurses, midwives, and enrolled nurses. So you'll have to apply to them for skills assessment. Once you get the skills assessment, then you can start looking at the visa options, which can be skilled independent visa, which is 189. You can look at state sponsored visa, which is 190, or 491 visa. And there is another option, which is 491 family sponsored visa. So you get 4 options under GSM, general skill migration. And otherwise you can also look at employer sponsored visa if you have experience of at least 2 years. And if you got registration from EPRA, you can apply for employer sponsored visa as well. So your employer who is also an employer who is willing to sponsor you with, if they have a shortage of your skills, and if they say that I'm happy to sponsor you, you work with us for 2 years, 4 years, whatever it is, then you can get that visa. And through that also you can look at permanent residency. So you get mainly 2 options: general skill migration, which is point tested visa, and the second option is employer sponsored visa.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much, Parth. Thank you. Gurjit is asking about OBA. Gurjit, we will cover OBA program later in this Facebook Live session. I know we've received a couple of inquiries regarding that. We have an expert today as well, who we say that OBA expert. So we'll come to that one. The next point what we're going to discuss is pathways, of course. So Neha, can you please tell us about pathways in Brisbane?
Yeah, so if you're looking to study Bachelor of Nursing program, then you can start you can get into Diploma of Health Science leading to Bachelor of Nursing. But still you have to get 7 each before you enter into Bachelor of Nursing program. And for Masters of Nursing, you should have, there is no pathway. You should have to meet the entry and the academic requirement, and then you can take direct admission. Yep. So Priyanka, can you please tell about New South Wales?
Sure, Neha. So with pathway in NSW, so for diploma, for Bachelors of Nursing, you have 3 pathways. One is Diploma of Nursing, the other one is Diploma of Health Science, and also there are students who do not meet entry requirement for diploma. They would come directly for foundation and they would go for Bachelors of Nursing, which means the Bachelor of Nursing will become 4 years altogether. Now, for Masters of Nursing, we have one pathway which is Graduate Diploma of Nursing leading to Masters of Nursing. Now, the interesting factor about Graduate Diploma of Nursing is you do not need 7 each. You can have 6.5, no by less than 6, and do 1 year of Graduate Diploma of Nursing, and then move to Masters of Nursing. That's about for the pathways in NSW. I'll pass it on to Aksh.
Thank you, Priyanka. When it comes to pathways in Victoria, you have a pathway for diploma. Technically, it's certificate for an individual support or pathology or aged care relating to nursing, and then further down to diploma of nursing, diploma leading to bachelor's, and bachelor's leading to master's. So these are the generic pathways that are there. Apart from that, guys, anybody who is a GNM or a PCL nurse back in their home country, they have an option of doing either Masters of Nursing second year entry, or they can directly go in for GDN, a graduate diploma, if their scores are not meeting. So most of the nurses, they might have an issue when it comes to, most of the students, they might have issue when it comes to not meeting the entry requirements of 7 each. They can go ahead with graduate diploma of nursing, where the entry requirement is 6.5, no by less than 6, and then get a second year entry into Masters of Nursing as well. Even Masters of Nursing programs, they have an exit entry. So it's not exactly a pathway, but yes, even Masters of Nursing has a reverse exit entry, where 1 year you can 1 year of total qualification, and you can take an exit entry with a GDN certificate, or 6 months can lead to a graduate certificate of nursing. And for those students who are from non-science background or non-biology background, they also have an interest in nursing. They can go ahead and pursue nursing. There are universities that offer nursing from non-cognate background. The only difference is if you have not covered human biology or human physiology component, you have to take the human physiology component separately, and you can move ahead with Masters of Nursing program after a 6 months of human physiology component. Thank you, Mangreesh. That's from Victoria. Adelaide, please. Manpreet.
Thank you very much, Akshdeep. In Adelaide, if you talk about the pathway, then we do not have the packages program. We don't have so many options. We do have TAFE SA, TAFE South Australia. They do offer certificate level of nursing prep leading to diploma, and they also have a pathway to university. So if any particular student wants to study with public universities, but they want to just start with diploma level so that they can understand the fundamentals, or if they want to get into depth, then they can start with the certificate level of nursing preparation and then go to diploma of nursing leading to bachelor's with the public university that we have. So it's Uni SF Flinders and Uni Adelaide. So TAFE do provide these pathway to university program. Other than this, we do not have any pathway which leads to diploma leading to bachelor's, or say bachelor leading to master's. However, if you want to pair it separately, then it's your choice. Say, for instance, you want to do diploma of nursing in a private institute, but eventually you also want to do a bachelor's, then you're looking at applying your application separately, first for your diploma level and then for your bachelor's level. With respect to the credit, as we discussed previously, that you will be eligible for 1 year of credit if you finish your studies in Australia or overseas. If you do that way, then you have to later on provide your completion letter and your academic transcript for them to consider for RPL or credit transfer. So that's it for Adelaide. Thank you so much, Mangirish.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Kiran, can you please tell us about Perth? But before that, we have a question quickly for Perth itself. So Parth, probably you can answer this. We have a question on YouTube. It's saying, how about 190, plus 190, if the person is doing Bachelor of Nursing in Sunshine Coast, Queensland? Sorry, it was for Queensland, but 190.
Okay. And do you know where is the applicant? Is it in Queensland?
They're saying, how about 190 if I do Bachelor of Nursing from Sunshine Coast? So I believe in Queensland.
Okay. So if you are in Queensland, generally for 190 program, if you are looking at Queensland, generally they says that you are required to work there in Queensland for 6 months full time, and you are required to have a job offer for 1 year in the same occupation. Then generally you are eligible for 190 program. However, these are the requirements I'm telling you about last year, until last year, last financial year, that is until June this year. However, it may be possible that this year in October, the state governments may update the requirements. So you might have to wait until October to see whether they are going to update any requirements and whether you are going to meet that requirements or not. If you are meeting the requirement, you can apply for your expression of interest. And generally they select applicants based on information you provide in expression of interest EOI application. They will select you then after, and then you submit full application to them. Then they will nominate you for the program, and then you can apply for the visa, 190 visa.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Parth. But Kiran, we're coming back to you. Can you please tell us about entry? Sorry. Can we talk about pathways, please?
Sure, Mangrish. So talking about entry pathways in WA, so we don't have such pathways here for bachelor's or master's, but yes, for diploma, person who is not meeting 7 initially, so they can start with the certificate in aged care or individual support. In order to get some time period to prepare for the IELTS or PTE. But to start for diploma, they need to submit their 7 each requirement before starting the course. So, and talking about bachelor's and master's, so if someone has done diplomas, obviously they will get a credit exemption for 1 year towards its bachelor's degree. And for masters, as I discussed earlier as well, so there is no such pathway. So it's only if you don't have any medical background, so they need to do human biology unit to get enrollment in Master of Nursing graduate entry. So people who has done, students who have done their GNM, so, and they are not meeting 7 each, so they can do graduate diploma of nursing first, and then in the meantime they can prepare for their 7 each or PTE 65, and then later on, once they achieve that requirement, they can apply for Master of Nursing. But as such, if someone has there is no such kind of pathway providers in WA. Diksha, up to you now. So talking about NT.
Sure. Thanks, Kiran. Regarding again, same, I agree with a lot of people here that even in NT and Tasmania, we don't have really pathway. But again, if somebody, for example, wants to study in CDU and they're not able to achieve that 7 each score, so what they can do for now is they can start a course like Bachelor of Health Services or Bachelor of Health Science, and they can get few credits of that so that they have enough 6 months additional time to prepare for their English, and in the meanwhile they can get credits from the same subjects that they have studied there. Also, if, for example, if someone has already done a diploma of nursing in a different state and they want to come and study in NT, they can come in as an enrolled nurse, and they can start from the next year of the Bachelor of Nursing. Similarly, they'll also get credits for the same. So this is the kind of pathway, or the way you can understand, like with which student can also get some time to prepare for their English requirements, and hence they can come and study nursing in NT or Tasmania. That's all. Back to you, Mankrish.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Diksha. Before taking next topic, I have a question, Path, again for you. If we study Diploma of Nursing in South Australia, can we apply for 491 without 3 months of experience if we have 8 in PTE?
So for South Australia state nomination, yesterday only they announced the new requirements where for every applicant is required to have at least 3 months of experience in the same occupation once you complete your study. So after you have completed your study in South Australia, the Diploma of Nursing, you are required to have at least 3 months of experience, at least 20 hours a week or 40 hours a fortnight. For this experience, there are some exemptions though for international students or for long-term residents. So if you are international student because you have studied there for 1 year, so for you, if one of the category where you can get exemption is if you have scored proficient plus overall, that is 7.5 overall or higher in English, IELTS, PT, any of that exam, then you can get exemption of that 3 months of experience. So if you are saying that you have 8 bands in each or in either IELTS or equivalent score in other exams, then you can ask for the exemption. So looking at the requirements, yes, you are eligible for that 3 months exemption. So you are eligible to apply for 491 state nomination program for South Australia.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, Parth. Shani Pereira, I hope Parth has given your answer to your question. Now, guys, the next point which we're going to talk about is, of course, the colleges, and the one after that would be available intakes. So I would like to request if we can please merge both of them. So let's talk about colleges and available intakes in every state combinedly, so that we'll give a little bit more time to Path as well, because there are so many questions coming up in related to, of course, nursing and migration. So starting with Neha. Neha, can you please tell us about the colleges and available intakes, please?
Yep. For Queensland, there are most of the university, they have nursing program available right now. If I'll start from Diploma of Nursing. So for Diploma of Nursing, if you are looking for registration as EN, then you might have to study from Think Education and TAFE, which will lead you to further registration as EN. And for Bachelor of Nursing, University of Sunshine courses there, which has campus in regional area as well. Torrance University for Bachelor of Nursing, they have upcoming intake in November, but that is reserved for those students only who has already got registration for Diploma of Nursing. And USQ, University of Southern Queensland, University of Queensland, Central Queensland University, QUT, and Southern Cross University, all they have intakes for next year, February 2021. Priyanka, can you please tell about New South Wales?
Thank you, Neha. So now with New South Wales Diploma of Nursing, we have NTA, IHNA, Torrance University, but unfortunately, even if the available intakes are almost every 2 months, most of them are full. So the next available intake for Diploma of Nursing in Sydney for Think Education is still going to be T1 2022 because they're full for 2021. With other providers, which private providers, NTA and IHNA, the next available intake is going to be October and every 2 months after that. Now with Bachelors of Nursing, again, we have Torrance University and the next available intake is T3 2021, which means September 2021. And then moving on to 2022 and T3 2022. With Bachelors of Nursing, there are more options like Western Sydney, ACU, UNE. With Masters of Nursing, again, there's only one there's only one university, and on the next intake is February 2021, and it's only available once a year. So most of the universities in NSW have only one intake. Now there's Charles Sturt University, which has a regional campus. They have February and July intake, and they are available for next year as well. That's it for New South Wales. I'll hand over to Aksh now.
Thank you, Priyanka. For Victoria, the intakes for diploma, they are available. The next intake that's available is Feb 2021. Box Hill TAFE, they have an intake available, which is Feb 2021. They also have an articulation with the university. So any student who's looking to do diploma leading to bachelor's, and then first diploma and then bachelor's with a particular university, they can go ahead with Box Hill TAFE. There are Think is also having an intake for Feb 2021. Unfortunately, they have every second month intake, but for this year, it's completely full. Then we have, actually, Diploma of Nursing is available with quite 8 to 10 universities and colleges across Victoria. So the major would be Think, Vauxhall TAFE, then all the TAFEs, Gordon TAFE, and RGIT, Menzies, IHNA. These are the ones that have Diploma of Nursing. Bachelors of Nursing, the next intake is February, but that's almost full. So the most prospective intake that you can enroll for is July 2021. For masters also, Feb intake is completely full because there are only 2 universities offering master's program in Victoria. And the next intake which would be available would be July 2021 for masters.
Akshay, I've got a question here which comes up from Shiromika. Shiromika is asking, can I apply Master of Nursing with PT results combining 2 times? Will they consider that?
Yes, for Masters of Nursing as well, because the requirements are set by AFRA, they remain the same. So in case your scores are not less than 6.5 and overall it's 7 equivalent, then you can apply, but 2 sittings combined together, and they should be in last 6 months only.
Okay. And sorry, I hope Shrimomika, we've answered your question. There's one question coming up on YouTube as well. A person is asking, can we do nursing even without nursing background?
Yes, you can do nursing without nursing background as well. In case you don't want to start from diploma or bachelor's level and you just want to start at master's level, you need to cover the human physiology component, which is another 3 to 6 months separate from your master's course. That program is offered by Monash University, and the next intake would be July 2021.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Aksh. Coming back to Manpreet.
Thank you, Mangarish. So with respect to Adelaide universities and institutions, we don't have so many. So I'll just quickly name the universities and their available intake. So we do have Equals International. They have intake every 2 months, but their major intake is January, July, September, and November. But they are pretty flexible. So if you're looking for intakes, there is. But the next available intake with Equals International for Diploma of Nursing, which has been the very, very popular program, is April 2021. So if you are looking for admissions, you need to just hurry up because we are receiving a lot of applications for nursing for Adelaide particularly. So, and then next one is Think Education. They had few spots for September, but it just filled up within, say, 48 hours. They were open for some time, and then now they are full for September 2020. So the next one will be February 2021 for Diploma of Nursing with these 2. We have TAFE who have Diploma of Nursing available for January 2021. If anyone is looking to package for Diploma plus Bachelor's of Nursing, then they are looking at July 2021 intake, because then only they can pair it with particular universities such as UniSA. So if they want to go with UniSA for Bachelor's of Nursing with credit, then they're looking at July 2021 intake with TAFE. With respect to the bachelor's and master's, we have public universities. So UniSA, Flinders, Uni Adelaide, all of them, they're open for February 2021 intake for bachelor's and master's. Considering that Bachelor's of Nursing is a very popular program, February 2021 intake is filling up very fast. So if anyone who's sitting offshore, onshore, want to go for bachelor's, it's better to act now and apply for your application. Thank you.
Thanks, Manpreet. Kiran, can you please tell us about Perth? Yes. Just We'll come back to Kiran. I think there's some problem with her mute, with her button. Diksha, can you please cover NT and Tasmania in the meantime?
Sure. Thanks, Mangarish. So for Bachelor of Nursing, in NT, we have CDU and their intake is in Feb and July. Their annual fee is 32,320. So if you want to go for a Bachelor of Nursing, CDU, then also Master of Nursing is available in CDU. And again, their intake is Feb and July. And their fees is around 32,850 annually. When it comes to Tasmania, we have Diploma of Nursing only, and their intake is Feb and July. The February course is for 98 weeks, and the July course is for 102 weeks. So that's about the intakes for these two states. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Kiran, we'll come back to Perth.
Yes, thank you, Mangarish. Talking about diploma intake, so we have diploma is available in IHNA, ETEA, and TAFE-WA. So TAFE has only July and February intakes available for diploma, but in these ETEA and IHNA, they have like November intake, then next is February, April, July, and October. So these are the year intakes in a year. Talking about bachelors and masters, so bachelor's intake are available for February and July, and it is available in Murdoch University, Edith Cowan University, and Curtin University. So these three universities have the two intakes in a year. But for Master of Nursing, ECU only has February intake, and Curtin, they only have July intake. So we have already started doing the applications for February intake in ECU and July intake in Curtin. So yeah, that's all for the intakes in WA.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks, Kiran. Parth, coming back to migration, we can't let you go for longer time. I've got a student on YouTube is asking, he's got a refusal from Australia when he applied for a graduate diploma of nursing and he got 7 each as well. He's asking, can he reapply for the visa?
Yes, he can for sure apply for the student visa again. It's just that what you should be looking into is you should look at the refusal, last refusal, and see on what basis they have refused your visa application. When you reapply for this for the new student visa application, you make sure that whatever refusal reasons they have provided in the last refusal, you comment on each of that factors and make sure that you meet that student visa requirements in this application, and you can reapply for the student visa application with stronger genuine temporary, the statement of purpose, which is known as GT, genuine temporary entrant criteria. And if case officer is happy with your statements and the claims you have made in your application, they should be able to grant you the visa.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Path. I've got one more question for you on Facebook. Faiza is asking, what are the opportunities for enrolled nurse Canadian educated? So someone has studied in Canada, of course, nursing. What are the opportunities here? Will they be able to apply for a visa?
Yeah, for you, if you don't need to get registration. I mean, you can straight away apply for the skills assessment with the Skills Assessment Authority NMEC and see whether if you are meeting any requirements for the state nomination, you can straight away apply for 190 or 491 program as well. If you wanted to work over here, then you will have to get registration over here with EPRA, and then you can start working. Otherwise, it depends on which visa you are planning to apply. But you can, having a Canadian registration of registered nurse or enrolled nurse, you can straight away apply for the skills assessment with NMEC, and you can look at permanent residency options through that actually.
Excellent. Thanks. Thank you, Parth. Faiza, I hope we've answered your question. And Tejinder and Ankita on YouTube, I hope we've answered your questions as well. Now, the last point, what we need to cover from education perspective is due to this COVID, there are few colleges and universities have recently come up with few scholarships. So can you guys please take turn and just tell us from your state what are the scholarships which are available? Now, I don't want to just name any state. You guys can just put up your hand. That's okay.
So Mangarish, I'll talk about WA. So so ECU, Edith Cowan University and Curtin, they don't have any such scholarship, but Murdoch, they do provide scholarship of 20% for Bachelor of Nursing students. So annual for Murdoch, their fees is 30,000, approximate 30,000 with 20% scholarship. So I think it's very much cheap as we talk about medical courses. Otherwise, like medical courses are a bit expensive, but Murdoch is giving a scholarship of 20%. So it is affordable for students. So yeah, that's all for WA.
Thank you.
Mangesh, yeah, I'll
Yes.
talk about the Adelaide. For Adelaide, we have with Torrens University, they are offering alumni scholarship for the Torrens graduate, 25% for Diploma of Nursing. For they also have a 5% academic merit academic scholarship, in which if you have scored 8 bands not less than 7.5, then you have a good academic score in your previous studies, say 60 above 65%, then you are eligible for 5% off on Diploma of Nursing. Same for Bachelor of Nursing as well. TAFESA doesn't have any scholarship, unfortunately, not even with equals. They have a high achiever scholarship in case if you achieve good grades. With public universities, we have a scholarship option of 25% for 1 year. So UniSA, Flinders and University of Adelaide, they offer 25% of scholarship. However, there's one thing that I want to let everyone know. If you are applying for credit transfer for your previous study, you will not be entitled for this 25% scholarship. So you have to choose. Either you can take 1 year of credit or you can take 25% of scholarship. That's it for Adelaide. Thank you, Mangesh.
Now with New South Wales, the Torrens University Business Scholarship is same as Manpreet mentioned, and we also have one very interesting scholarship with Charles Sturt University with their Albury, Bathurst, Dubbo, Port Macquarie and Wagga Wagga campus. And that is $15,000 per year. So that is NSW destination scholarship. So that means if your fee is $30,000 a year, you'll be paying only $15,000, and that $15,000 will basically be given to the student, and it's the onus of student to utilize it towards the fee. So I think that's a very big amount of scholarship, but it depends upon when you apply it, because you have to apply it just in time. So for example, if you're looking at February intake, this is the right time to apply so that you can at least get the scholarship, because they only have say 25 to 30 spots for those scholarship. And that's about it for NSW.
Thanks, Priyanka. Also, similarly for NT, we also have NT Destination Scholarship, same 15,000. There are only limited spots. But for CDU, I would say they have different scholarships. Like they have a lot of Vice Chancellor Scholarship, Global Excellence Scholarship, Global Achiever. But there is a certain criteria that you need to meet. This scholarship amount is pretty huge. You can get up to 50% scholarship in first year and 25% scholarship in second year, and similarly 15 first year. In second year, you can get 10% scholarship, but there is a full criteria for that. You can actually come and visit our office. All our consultants, they're very well aware about these scholarships, and they can let you know how to apply for these particular scholarships as well. Now, when it comes to Tasmania, as we discussed, Diploma of Nursing in Tasmania TAFE, they do have two types of scholarships which is offered by the university. First, scholarships is only limited to certain countries. So for example, a student from China, Vietnam, South Korea, Japan and Hong Kong, they can avail up to 25% of scholarship in their first year. And there is a condition that you have to study 2 years to get these scholarships. Anyone studying less than 2 years cannot avail these scholarships. Similarly, for other countries, they have a scholarship of $1,000. Now for that $1,000, again, there is a criteria. You need to write a strong statement of purpose and why you want to study in Tasmania and why you should be getting that scholarship. There are limited spots for it. So you just need to make sure that you make that cut, and that 1,000 scholarship will be again valid if you study there for 2 years. And also Tasmania has Tasmania Destination Scholarship again, where they offer $15,000. But again, you need to really quickly submit these applications, otherwise you'll be missing out on the spot. And also for all the TR, like people who are on their TR, they're not on student visa, they can get a subsidized course fee from Tasmania TAFE. So you can be also eligible for that. Only if you are not on your student visa or visitor visa, you need to be on a temporary graduate visa to be considered for that scholarship. Yeah, so that's about it for NT and Tasmania. Back to you,
Oh,
Mangrish.
thank you. Thanks, Diksha. Guys, we will cover OBA program in couple of minutes. I have few questions for Path again. So we'll go back to auction. We'll get more information about OBA. We'll try to cover it a little bit quicker. Coming back to you, Parth, I've got a question from Darshan Patel. Darshan is asking, a registered nurse in Victoria for 190, 85 points. Is it good enough? What are the chances? Did you?
Yes. Can you just repeat the question?
So, uh, in Victoria, a registered nurse with 85 points would like to go for 190 visa. What are the chances?
Okay. Darshan, actually, it depends on whether you are a recent graduate of Australia or you haven't studied in Australia, suppose. So for Victoria, Victorian state government generally states that if you are recent Australian graduate, that means if you have studied anywhere in Australia within last 2 years, and if that course was relevant to nursing health, then Victoria can sponsor applicants with even 60 points. 60 points by yourself and 5 points from the state. So minimum requirement is 65 points, including 5 points from the state. So if you have graduated from Australian universities anywhere in Australia, and if you are living in Victoria, then just with the registration, APRA registration, you are eligible to apply with even 60 points. If you have graduated from any other state, then Victoria says that you either are required to relocate to Victoria, and then they can sponsor you, or you are required to provide a job offer later in Victoria for at least 6 months, part-time or full-time job offer. But the good thing is, with even 60 points, Victoria is sponsoring applicants even if you are living in other state. Getting a job offer, I think it should be fine, because there are lots of jobs for registered nurses. The other case is, if you have studied any other irrelevant course, or if you are a dependent, suppose, and you haven't studied in Australia, in that case, Victoria state government, they invite applicants based on the higher points. And that's where I have seen that they select applicant who has more points, which is approximately around 85 points by yourself, 5 points from the state, that is altogether around 90 points. Because if you have 90 points, or other people who have 90 points, generally they are selected under 189 category. So most of them, they are going for 189. People who have less points than that is 85 or less points than that, 85, 80 points, then they generally apply to Victoria, suppose. And that's where generally they are selected. So if you have 85 points by yourself and 5 points from the state, and on top of that, another requirement is you are required to have 2 years of experience as well. It can be in Australia or overseas. So 2 years of experience, high points if you have, then you are selected. Or if you are a recent Australian graduate, then even with 60 points, you can get selected. These are the requirements these were the requirements until June this year. Again, in October or maybe in few weeks, they are saying that they might update the requirements. So you might have to wait and see whether you will be eligible.
Yeah, but with the bridging course, Darshan is saying, but with the bridging course, what about the bridging course?
If they are doing, if they have completed bridging course, that means they haven't completed. Actually, the requirement for the study is that you must have completed 2 years of study in Australia. So that means you are not meeting that requirement, and that's where you are not considered as a recent graduate. And that's where you will have to go through the other pathway where high points is required, and you require minimum 2 years of experience as well, part-time or full-time, 20 hours a week. 2 years of experience is required. If you have that, then you can apply for 190 expression of interest for Victoria. Based on the points, you will be selected. Like, most likely you have good chances, because department was selecting people under 189 category in, I think, June or July, with even 85 points. So they were selecting people with 85 points under 189. So you might hardly see people applying with 85 points in Victoria. So if you have 85 points, I think you have very good chances for Victoria state nomination. And
Yes.
one more thing, Mangirish, there was another person, I think her name is Faiza. She
Yeah.
asked one question, saying that she studied EN from Canada, and I
Yeah.
was saying that she can apply for full skills assessment. But the thing is, it's only enrolled nurses. They are not qualified for that program. So if it is registered nurses or midwives, they are eligible that way. Exemption is enrolled nurse. So that's what I just checked, and then I found out that for enrolled nurses, they are not eligible that way. So that way, you will have to either study a new course, maybe over here in Australia, and then with that course, you can, if it is a registered course with APRA, you can apply for If it is accredited, if it is accredited course from EPRA, then you can apply as a enrolled nurse registration, or you may do higher course and become qualified as a registered nurse. Otherwise, you won't be able to straight away apply for skills assessment like registered nurses or midwives from Canada actually.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Parth. Coming back to Aksh, guys, we will cover the OBA program quickly because we are little bit over time, so we can't spend more time on it. Aksh, can you please quickly try and give our audience little bit information about OBA?
Thank you, Mangaresh. When it comes to OBA, guys, Parth has already discussed the AFRA requirements for OBA, that there are two test components that are there. Similarly, EPIC was there, and EPIC is still ongoing for AFRA. Just give me a moment. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Working from home. We all are working from home. Kids are in the background. That's okay.
So sorry about that, guys. I have a little 2.5-year-old daughter, and it's impossible to control a little one. Yes, back to OBA, guys. When it comes to OBA, OBA has been recently introduced, and most of you might have referral letters for OBA as of now. So the primary requisite for OBA is the referral letter, 7 each. Again, 2 sittings test can be considered for that. And when it comes to OBA, there are 2 tests: multiple choice questions and OSCE. So multiple choice question is the primary test that you need to clear before you move on to OSCE requirement. There are colleges which are helping you prepare for both the components. So you can either choose for multiple choice component, NCLEX, which is called NCLEX test, or you can choose for OSCE component, or you can choose for both. Offshore students or offshore persons can also study NCLEX component, which is available with ETEA and IHNA. Now, IHNA offers that component for a 12-month duration. So it's an unlimited 12-month duration, unlimited 1-year practice session for multiple choice questions that's available. And it's for $3,500. Whereas ETA offers that component for $4,000, and that's available for 4 weeks, where they would analyze completely what questions have been asked in previous NCLEX testers all across the world, and they would advise you on those questions as well. Now, if a student attempts for a multiple choice question, NCLEX, and fails, and they want to reassess their application, they can do that as well. They don't need to go ahead with another entire course. They can just pay $120 and they can actually go ahead and get it reassessed. Once you complete that component, you can go ahead with OSCE preparation. Now for OSCE preparation, it includes lab practical sessions as well. So it's 2 weeks theory, 2 weeks practical, which is placement sessions that are available for your practice. These are only available for onshore students at the moment. For offshore colleges, they have not yet started this component. ETEA and IHNA, both the providers, they are offering this OSCE preparatory component that's available. In case at the Adelaide Simulation Health Center, unfortunately, you fail the OSCE test that has been set out by AFRA, you don't need to pay the entire fees, and you don't need to do those entire 4 to 8 weeks component of OSCE. You can just go ahead with 2 weeks of placement, or that has been set at a very minimal price of $1,200, which is provided at acute settings. So you will go into hospital, you would do your practice over there along with the theory component that's available. So you have an ample amount of time to practice for your OBA. Those who already have a referral letter for EPIC and it's still valid, they can actually go ahead with EPIC program, which is still being run by La Trobe University in Victoria. And those who already have a referral letter for EPIC and wants to go ahead with OBA, they will have to get the referral letter revised for OBA. Apart from that, there are prerequisites like working with children check, police check, immunization record that are still mandatory when it comes to OBA, because these are components that are required for your placement. That's all for OBA, Mangaresh.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Aksh. Darshan, if you are in Adelaide, you can get in touch with our Adelaide office. If you're in Melbourne, of course, Path works at Elizabeth office, so feel free to get in touch with him. Parth, we pretty much finished everything when it comes to education perspective. Now we would like to hear a little bit more. Now, before that, we have few questions on Facebook, which I would like to ask you. So Farah is asking, Farah Samson, my husband has done 4 years nursing study in Pakistan and has 7 years experience. What he needs to do more in Australia? He's been in Australia since 2 years now. What he needs to do in Australia to be eligible for permanent residency?
Okay. Firstly, I'm not sure whether you already got the registration over here to work as a registered nurse. If you haven't got that, then you'll have to go through that OBA process. You will have to first apply for qualification assessment. You'll have to, there's a tool on APRA website. You'll have to see whether your qualification is acceptable. And then after, you will be able to go with the other test, MCQ test. And then further, you can go ahead with that simulation test at Adelaide Center. Once you complete that, and then you got the registration. That's the new process. If you have already got the registration, then you can start looking at the visa options. There are three visa options, as I said earlier, mainly two streams. One is under employer sponsored visa, and then the other one is GSM visa, general skilled migration. So if I talk in general way, for general skilled migration, there are three visas: 189 visa, 190 visa, and 491 visa. For 189 visa, minimum requirement is just 65 points, but then the applicant who has the highest points will be selected. As of now, applicants who are having 85 points or more, they are waiting in the queue since February this year. So if you think you cannot score 85 points or higher, then you should look at the other visa options. If you think that you can score 85 or more, then you may think of maybe waiting for a few months of time. That's the 189 visa, where it's all about the points. And then second priority department look into is the date of application. Someone who apply earlier will be selected first, something like that. The second visa you can look at is 190 visa, which is a state sponsored visa. In state sponsored visa, points might not be the concern, but it depends on the state's requirement. Every state, they have their own requirements. Such as Victoria, as of now we discuss about the Victoria. They says that if you are a recent graduate of Victoria, they are sponsoring people with even 60 points, which is the least points requirement for 190 visa. 5 points can be sponsored by the state, so minimum requirement is 65 points. You can meet that way. If you go for other state, maybe like suppose you look at New South Wales, say New South Wales, they says that you are required to work for 1 month in their state in the relevant occupation to be eligible. Or if you are living there in New South Wales for 6 months of time, then you are eligible to apply. But then they, after you meet this minimum requirement, then after they see which applicant has higher points, with applicants with higher points will be selected. However, we have seen that around 70 points if you have, then you are generally selected under New South Wales program as well. And then if you go for some other state, there might be some other requirements. So whichever state you are living in, you might target that state, because all of the states nowadays, they says that they can only sponsor applicants if you have lived in their state and plus worked or studied in their state. So if you haven't been living in their state, then they cannot sponsor you. So suppose if you're living in Victoria, that means you are not eligible for any other state as of now. So if you're targeting, suppose if you think that you are not eligible for Victoria, then you might target some other state. So you might have to relocate and maybe start working there or studying there, then they may be able to sponsor you. And 190 visa is a straight away permanent residency. And then the last option you can have is 491 visa, which is a pathway to PR. It's a regional visa. There are two choices in this. You either get a sponsorship from the state government, or you get the sponsorship from the relatives. If you have any relative, you or your partner have any relative living in regional Australia, as of now, other than Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane, all other city, all other towns, all other postcodes are part of regional area. So if you have any relative up to first cousin living in regional area, they can sponsor you for 491 program. But they must also be Australian permanent residents or citizens, or eligible New Zealand citizens. If they are, they may be able to sponsor you for 491 program, where we have seen that department are selecting people who have 60 points as well. 60 points by yourself and 15 points from your relative, that is altogether 75 points. They have also selected people who have 55 points by themselves, 15 points from relative. That is, even with 70 points, applicants were selected under 491 family category. And then the other category is state sponsored visa. So again, it depends on the state. If you meet the state's requirement, state can sponsor you with even 50 points, which is the lowest points requirement. 50 points by yourself, and state can sponsor you 15 points. That is the state sponsored visa. And once you get this state sponsorship or the family sponsorship, you are required to apply for the visa, which is what you get 5 years of 491 visa. In that visa, you are required to stay in regional area for at least 3 years and work in regional area for 3 years. You can do any job you want. It can be in nursing or any other field. If you wanted to, you can do your own business as well. And you are required to prove that you can earn 54,000, approximately 53,900 to be precise, per year for at least 3 years of time. And after 3 years of time, you can apply for permanent residency, which is 191 visa. So it is 189, 190, and 191 at the end. So 3 visa options you have under point tested visa, which most of the people look for. If you have registration, you are working over here, and if you are not having higher points, or if you think that 189 or 190 is not working for you, and if you don't wanted to go for regional visa like the 491 option because it's a long pathway, or maybe you might have to relocate to regional, if you don't wanted to do that, you may ask your employer to sponsor you. If your employer is happy to sponsor you because you have more than 3 years of experience, for employer sponsored visa there is a stream which is known as 186 direct entry stream, where if you have 3 years of full-time experience, registration, a skill assessment, and minimum 6 in English, which is what you will have anyway if you have a registration. So then with that you can apply for 186 visa, which is employer sponsored visa, but that can straight away give you permanent residency. There is no points requirement in this visa, so that is the main benefit. So if you think you cannot score high points, maybe you can also target state sponsored visa.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Parth. Guys, we have tried our level best to answer as many questions as possible. We've had this session for almost hour and 10 minutes, I think. All our offices and their numbers will be posted here. As you guys know, that Aussizz is one of the biggest education migration consultancy in Australia, and we have offices in pretty much most of the states except Darwin and Tasmania, but we do have tie-ups in those states as well. So feel free to get in touch with us. Of course, our numbers are there, as I said, and we will definitely make sure that we'll answer your questions. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, from education background. And of course, Path is there from migration. Path, thank you so much for attending today's session. It was fantastic. We've had so many questions which we try to answer, and I hope that people got their answers what they're looking for. We will definitely catch up next week from migration department, and the following week again education will come back again. But in the meantime, feel free to get in touch with any of our offices, and have a good evening, have a great weekend, and catch up soon. Thank you.